So, like other comics in the Color series, Hawkray is about grief. It is about grief and the gray areas in life. But Bruce Banner's grief is a lot more interesting to me and a lot more layered because he's not only grieving his current self, he's grieving his former self. And when it comes to Betty, he's not only grieving the loss of her life, the only person he's allowed himself to love, he's also grieving the love that they shared in the first place. And that is the most interesting aspect of his grief to me, that latter part. And that is because Bruce Banner loves Betty. We know that as a fact. But he hates that Betty loved him back. He hates that she loved the monster within him and that she loved him despite the monster within him. And that is because that is the same way, the same lens in which she loved her father, Ross. Now, Bruce Banner and Hulk hates Ross. They hate Betty's dad because Ross is to Betty what Brian Banner is to Bruce Banner. They both share different forms of abuse in the hands of their fathers. So it is devastating that when Bruce Banner looks at Betty, he sees the man that he hates. He sees it in her face because she looks like Ross, but he also sees it in her eyes because he knows that Betty sees him as Ross. And that is completely devastating to Bruce. But let's focus now on Bruce's grief. We know that he's grieving his current self and his former self. Now, when we look at the grief he has towards his current self, we know the song and dance. We know that he hates Hulk and that Hulk hates him. But in this comic, I get the sense that Bruce doesn't only hate Hulk because he's a manifestation of everything he's trying to repress, i.e., his rage and his trauma. But he also hates Hulk because he's jealous of Hulk. And why would I say that? Well, Hulk gets to do whatever he wants and face the consequences head on. Hulk doesn't have to be the smartest person in the room. He doesn't even have to speak in full sentences to be heard and understood. Hulk doesn't have to hide his grays and his wrongdoings. He's free to express them. Bruce Banner cannot fathom that. Bruce Banner believes he has to be the best and the smartest in the room. He believes that if he shows any sense of self, he will be punished for it. If not by his father, then by himself. And if not by himself, then the natural consequences of life will be his reward. But Hulk is Hulk. Hulk gets to kidnap Betty and deal with the bullets. Hulk gets to call Ross a monster and have him not be able to do anything about it. And Bruce Banner is jealous of that. And we see that towards the end of the comic book, when Bruce is conveniently missing for the entirety of the run, he finally sees Ross again. And the moment that Ross meets the eye of Bruce Banner, he continues to berate him and condescend to him. And Bruce Banner takes it on the chin and he does nothing about it. But do you know who does or who can do something about it? Hulk. Because Hulk is Hulk. But Bruce Banner doesn't believe he is anything. But it is actually the grief he has towards his former self that is the most interesting to me. Because Bruce Banner grieves his former self long before Hulk actually comes into the picture. In the beginning of the comic book, Bruce is saying in a narration that he has this great gift, the gift of his mind. But instead of doing so many good things, so many notable things, so many great things, and noble things, he has chosen to create a weapon of mass destruction. So with that mere statement or that mere comment, he's questioning his identity as a good person. He's questioning if he even is a good person in the first place. And we as the audience are also meant to be questioning that. Would a good person be able and willing to create a nuclear weapon? And we're also meant to question, is it actually black and white? Or does Bruce Banner live in that gray area? Is he walking that thin gray line? And then we have Hulk. As I said before, Hulk is Hulk. Hulk is the only one in this comic book run that is living his authentic self. He's not afraid of being the monster that everyone sees him as. He's actually not afraid of it. He just denies it because he knows who he actually is. He's the only one who actually knows who he is. But Hulk is gray. Hulk is gray because we see him care for a rabbit. We see him befriend it and we see him love and caress it. But with the same hands that he uses to caress that rabbit, he ends up killing it and hurting it. And we also see the same with Betty. He cares for Betty, he caresses her, but he also hurts her. He knocks her against a rock and he denies her plea to escape when he kidnaps her and hides her in a cave. But Hulk is grey, and he wears that on his sleeve. He's not hiding the fact that he's killed this rabbit. He's not hiding the fact that he's hurting Betty. He's actually quite apologetic about it. And he's not hiding the fact that he appears to be a monster. He's not hiding anything. Whereas we see Bruce Banner and we see Ross. Both of them are hiding their greys within. Ross hides his greys in his home. He hides the fact that he's neglectful towards Betty in his home. And he also hides that he has murderous intentions towards everyone that stands in his way. He hides the murder of his troops, either directly or indirectly, within shrouds of bureaucracy. And then we have Bruce. Bruce hides his greys by deputizing them to Hulk.